Alright. Today I'm gonna get back into Rogue Trader. It's been a couple of weeks since I've played it. This Monday I'll start playing Space Marine 2. So that was a big reason why I wanted to play Rogue Trader before that, to just, you know, immerse myself again in the Warhammer universe. I was in Act 2. I stopped at that tavern. I even remember what I was doing. A sec. Continue. The Martyr's Endurance. I haven't solved the inheritance quest. There was a couple of other things here, I believe. Let's see. Chapter 2, Underworld. Yeah, this is the quest about the inheritance.
Is there money to be made? That's how it's done.
Stuck to the police are lumps of sawdust, toxic waste that is sometimes passed off as ordinary nutritious stark. Oh god. Yeah.
The machine gun grants me insight. Operation successful.
The flabby man in worn clothes sighing sadly over a glass of murky booze. Only when he looks up at you do you notice his eyes, large, piercing and full of sorrow, in stark contrast to his unkempt appearance. Could it be that someone actually wishes to keep me company? Allow me to introduce myself. Gordy Skarov, architectural historian. You look deeply despondent over something. What happened? Here I go again, pouring my heart out to have you disappear in 10 minutes just like everyone else before you. But alright, here is the story of Gordy Skarov, the unluckiest historian in Imperium. I was born 2 sectors away from here. My family was quite influential, which allowed me to dedicate myself to my great passion, the history of Imperium architecture. I spent a number of years studying every scholarly work there was to find on this art. And then, once I had inherited my family's fortune, I traveled and documented the development of architectural thought on different worlds. Until one day, oh, that accursed and blessed day. Until one day I came into possession of something quite special. Garde pulls what looks like a book or an album with a home-made leather cover out of his bag. Both the pages and the binding look well worn. Here it is, my undoing. This is an authentic booklet titled Dwayne's Design, one of the thousands that were printed centuries ago, in the times of Footfall's construction. What a curious read, please tell us more. Skassia takes a shy step forward. Gordy smiles and shows her some of the faded pages. Footfall's founder, Lord Parsimus, was obsessed with his creation's grand future. This booklet describes in detail what Footfall was meant to become upon its completion. Dozens of asteroids turned into glorious palaces and temples, massive bridges spanning the void itself, and the marvelous flying buttresses. The archivolts of the exterior arches, the elegant arrangement of balusters, and the interior, polyphorous 10 stories tall and more than a kilometer long. Cyclopean light tubes that catch the light of Faribundas and use it to brighten the halls in the hearts of the asteroids. Stained glass windows and mosaics, bas reliefs and statues. Engrossed in his own description, Gordy stands up and starts tracing the outlines of arches and galleries with his hand. Idira blinks sleepily, barely suppresses a yawn, and starts looking around with a bored expression. Emerging from his reverie, he catches himself, blushes slightly, and loudly flops back onto his seat. I apologize. I got carried away. But you must understand how deep an impression this booklet left on me when my young self picked it up. Simply couldn't think about anything other than footfall. I was ready to give my life just to see this incredible station. And of course, no matter how hard my friends and loved ones tried to dissuade me, I still gathered all my savings and set out on a journey. It is no easy feat to cross two sectors, especially for a common citizen, albeit one who has some resources at his disposal. I had to change one ship after another, at times being forced to stay on transfer worlds, waiting for a vessel headed in the right direction, or for warp disturbances to subside. The voyage took me a total of 107 years. Wow, 107 years! In real space-time, of course. For me it was much less than that, somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 or 35. And then, after all those years, having spent all of my savings, I reached my dream. And what did I see? A dump in a place of exquisite portico. Metal antennas clinging to the columns. The marble tiles pilfered by papers to use a cladding for their hovels. Gordy hangs his head. It's been a dozen years since I came here, and I still haven't recovered from the shock. I had suspected that not everything from the booklet would exist in reality, but I never expected to see Footfall in such a sorry state. It is like stumbling upon a horrible decomposing corpse of your beautiful beloved. Argenta's gaze darkens. The warp, like a shameless thief, is guilty of stealing the short span allotted to his servants. But what sense is there in spending half of your life on such an enterprise, only to then lose your spirit and waste the remaining half on nothing at all? So then ink and paper too can lie and cause pain. Cassius sighs sadly. Does this mean that all I have ever read about will one day disappoint me with the ugliness of reality? Not everything, but there's definitely that. Yeah. Reality is quite different from what is written, usually. A compelling cautionary tale. If there was a book on the folly of chasing wild fantasy, she would take up a whole chapter. Most certainly, Footfall and I will both serve as excellent warnings to those who would indulge their flights of fancy. Be that as it may, I just wanted to say, thank you for hearing me out. Over the dozen years I've spent on Footfall, not one person has hung around long enough to listen to my story to the end. Such a delight to have shared everything that's been weighing on my mind. I'm poorer as a church mouse, but I still have something to offer you as a token of my appreciation. After studying the booklet thoroughly, I discovered something interesting, a ciphered message scattered throughout its pages, taking the form of a riddle. It describes certain places of interest on Footfall. I believe it is the work of the booklet's creators. What if these riddles lead to something? A wondrous discovery? I will gladly share what I've been able to learn with you. Riddles. A flash of burning, almost childish curiosity brightens Cassius' austere countenance. The first location from the riddle isn't far from here. It's a bridge that was supposed to go through the center of this district and into the void toward the neighboring asteroids. Only a couple of its spans were built. Even in those lie in ruins. Still, if the cache survived after all these years, it is there somewhere. Oh. Destroyed bridge in the shadow quarters may contain cache left by the builders of Footfall. The second location is the lantern of the great cathedral. A lantern is a small tower on the top of a dome. You've seen Footfall atrium, haven't you? The whole atrium is just the nave of the former little cathedral. The Liege's entire so-called palace would have fit inside what was meant to be naught but a single room. The great cathedral, had it been built, would have been even bigger, but alas, its construction was just getting underway when Dwayne died and the work stopped. The lantern from its dome, however, had already been built and survived. It was brought inside the atrium and dubbed the Chapel of Saint Drusus the Warrior. That's all I know. I wish you luck in your search. That's cool. Treasure hunt. It's a rumor? Mm-hmm.
Rushno Dordal.
An expected result.
Rough day.
You have no
Ah,
idea.
sir, right. Now
I
I
just
remember.
might. That's the second bottle you've downed.
Jai Hidari. Falco sends his regards.
And what does that unholy scion of a Grox and a Brahan want from me this time? Oh, wait, I don't really care. My sole plans for tonight are drowning my grief in a sea of Amasak.
We'll give you grief, all right. Get out!
Don't think so, Ashmag. And tell Falco to come himself next time.
Dari, I am tired of your mess. Out! Get some sleep. We'll talk about settling up later.
Okti Shireen, light of my eyes. Can't you see my soul is full of sadness? Have you no heart at all? Let go of your material concerns and let me grieve in peace. Have we met somewhere before?
The woman looks at you with the glass eyes of a drunk, and you notice that 2 empty bottles that have been keeping her company before you arrived. She looks completely out of place in this dingy, smoky bar. The fancy attire, the abundance of jewelry, the implants plated with precious metals. Her appearance not only screams wealth, but also audacity, for only an audacious person would flaunt their wealth in a place like this.
Greetings, Shireen. With whom do I have the honor of speaking?
I am Zelkor, trade envoy of House von Valences.
Well then, here's to our meeting. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that you're someone special, since you've been granted an audience with the Liege of Footfall himself. It's always a pleasure to make the acquaintance of someone powerful. And the timing couldn't be better. Jai Hidari at your service. Professional trader, shrewd commercial broker, and, may he steal my tongue if I'm lying, the most honest dealer on Footfall. Nonetheless, we all have our problems, and at times even one's many merits aren't enough to solve them. Perhaps it would be no trouble for a person with your kind of power and standing to assist someone with my kind of predicament. I have heard a great deal about how open-minded the members of the von Valancius dynasty are, and Lady Theodora especially.
What kind of cargo was stolen from you?
Goods of incredible rarity, Shireen. But it's not just that. 24 of my people lost their lives in the impenetrable emptiness of the void to acquire them. I cannot leave their families with nothing.
Logic test succeeded. Ordinary smugglers do not dress so ostentatiously or behave so brazenly, and they are unlikely to spoil the mood of the Leech of Footfall with their mere appearance. This woman lost many people to obtain this rarest of goods, and to get them back she turned to Vladaim Tokara, the pattern of an cold trade in the expanse. Her cargo can be nothing other than Xeno artifacts, creations of the enemies of humanity, branded with heresy. I already know who won't like that in my party. Are you asking an upstanding citizen to be party to the trafficking of Xeno artifacts?
I thought we were on the same page from the start, Shireen. Please accept my sincerest apologies if that is not the case, and allow me to explain myself. If I had told you directly, you would have become, shall we say, complicit. But since those illicit words did not escape my lips, you would hypothetically be agreeing merely to help me recapture a few containers. And if the Ajis suddenly decided to thwart our plans, then all the Void Dogs would be unleashed on me alone. My sincerest wish was to protect you from any unnecessary trouble, Shireen. I swear, by the Exalted One. Ask as many as you wish, Shireen. Trust is the key to a successful endeavor.
What do you need help with?
You see, Shireen, there's one cardinal rule on footfall. Anything goes as long as it doesn't get in the way of business. I'm someone who's been able to exploit that rule to the fullest. And in recent years, I've hit it so big, I've become a speck of sand in someone's green eye. They used to throw small wrenches into my dealings here and there. Well, now they've decided to really put their backs into it. Some rats stolen my cargo and dragged it off to the seediest part of the Shadow Quarters. A crummy place even for connoisseurs of Footfall's unique atmosphere. When I asked the Liege for protection, we had a mutual misunderstanding. I believe Vladium, in a most lamentable fashion, has forgotten his duties as guardian of the downtrodden and wronged. So I'm in desperate need of a new one. And you, Shireen, fit the bill perfectly. All I need is for you to drop by one dark corner of Footfall Shadow Quarters and pound it into the thieves' heads that taking Heydari's property
I can do
carries
that.
certain risks.
Jay appears to be a serious operator on Footfall. The Legion's refusal to help means the loss of a potential ally. So Jay is encroaching on his turf. If Vladaim is not responsible for the disappearance of Jay's cargo, he will certainly benefit greatly from it. I suspect that Vladaim wants to keep the cargo out of your hands, and I want to put him in his place.
May the Exalted One bless you and your progeny. Then here's what we'll do. We shouldn't be seen together before we make it to the safe house. I'll head there first. I'll take my own special route so I won't be spotted. Right. Here, that's where those ashmags are keeping the stolen cargo. Out the bar, over the bridge, and to the left. There in the depths you'll find a small courtyard, through which you can get to the place. I'll be waiting nearby. You can come when it suits you, but the sooner you do, the better. I'll see you then, Shireen.
Alright.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust. Keep your wits about you.
over the bridge and to
I
the
always
left, right?
keep my options open. Is there money to be made?
Did I visit the warehouse?
The little voices are whispering that there's trouble waiting up ahead. And if you don't take things down a notch, you could be caught with your trousers down. Figuratively or literally, I'm not sure.
Servitor. There's a servitor.
Let us not dawdle.
And tugs.
Let's not waste time with pleasantries. It's as good as done.
You never
You will
stood a
beg
chance.
for mercy, but I will grant none.
Show them no mercy.
Oh fuck, I forgot. Okay, never mind.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
I mean, I can stay right here.
On it. I'll see to it personally. Who, if not me?
It will be done. Indeed.
Here we go. Let's get to it. Out of my way.
Duty go hand in hand. My ears are ringing.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. This is unacceptable. Doubt is for the weak. I'll do it. Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it. Each strike is a prayer.
Okay.
This battlefield air is good for my lungs.
Hold on. Let's make it quick.
Help me, Lord Captain!
They who discern the future.
Let's move a little bit closer.
On it. But of course.
Let's get to it. Here we go.
Scared yet?
Let's get to it. Out of my way.
Advancing. The Omniscient knows all, comprehends all. I am a savant of destruction.
Nice.
Hold on.
Condemned.
I have read tomes of military tactics.
Why is she getting stunned? What?
Why did I not foresee this?
Ugh.
Watch my back. I definitely need a drink. Or a medikit.
I gotta heal Jay. God damn.
Tactical disadvantage.
Looks like I'll need more augmentations.
Is she permanently dead?
I'm afraid not. That is foolishness. I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Just a minor setback.
I'll see to it, put another enemy down. Accept your lot. Your end was inevitable.
I've suffered worse. I will do my duty. Victory is imminent. I'm not interested. At your beck and call. Someone else can do this.
God, Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart.
Forgot to use the skill.
I took care of this one.
Cover me! Stop it!
Emperor, give me strength. Isn't this a job for the serfs? I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
I'll make it happen.
That's not the Seneschal's job.
I refuse. In thy light I stand, and thy light I crave. None can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Is she dead or she was unconscious? Two, three, 5. Thank the Exalted One. Those Asmags didn't have time to make off with anything yet. She carefully inspects the containers emblazoned with markings from some unknown freight operator, then smiles and touches the comm head in her ear. Give me 2 minutes, Shireen. I'll send the coordinates to my loyal crew who will deliver my property somewhere safe. And done. Jay removes her hand from her ear and turns to you. We're good. Now how about we relocate to a more pleasant and private space to discuss the details of our deal, specifically payment for your efforts. I hope your vaunted wisdom is worth all this trouble. She opens her mouth to reply when you hear the sound of many footsteps behind you. Stop right there, in the name of the Liege. The gaunt, pale-skinned man in grimly clerical robes glances at you and immediately falls to his knees obsequiously or whatever. Your Excellence, please forgive my vehemence. I don't know this word. Most noble Zelker, I never expected to encounter such eminent persons in this corner of footfall. Most noble Excellency? Jay pursues her lips lightly and shoots you shoots you a confused look. I'm Vladimir Takara's personal agent. The man hesitates, choosing his words carefully. I came here to remove them from criminal circulation as shipment, distribution of which is banned in the lands of Footfall. Horrendous sin of heresy that has been fraudulently delivered to a bastion of the Holy Imperium. He looks at Jay. I do not doubt for a moment, most noble Zelkar, that your presence here is merely a misunderstanding, brought about by another's manipulations. It's too great a coincidence that the Legion's representative should arrive in the Shadow Quarters just after Jay has recovered her rightful spoils. It seems that the guards reported the problem of shipment over the Vox, not to just anyone, but to the Legion's personal agent. Vladimir Takara knew about the shipment from the start and planned to take it for himself, and get rid of Jay if he could. Behold, the grubby, underhanded struggle between coal traders. And had not been for your impromptu deal struck in the bar, Vladimir might have succeeded. Jay Adari, the owner of this cargo, is presently under my protection, under a rogue trader's protection. Tell your master that he should think twice before crossing her from now on. And don't forget to tell him that I'm not mad, but I will be collecting the debt sometime. Jay watches him hurry away, then looks too. I wish I could see Vladimir's face when he finds out he almost stepped on the toes of one of the most powerful people in the Expanse. Listen, Zelkar, I'm genuinely sorry about this confusion. Vladimir and I have had our difficulties. But I never thought he'd want to clean me out and do away with me in some dark corner. At least not too soon. Not so soon. If you hadn't agreed our deal, Shireen, my gang, and I would already be floating in orbit around one of the Footfall's asteroids. A rogue trader could use someone with your talents and connections, Jay. I would like to see you in my retinue. Exalted One, bless you and your entire dynasty. I wouldn't say no to marking the occasion properly. It's not every day you embark on a brilliant new business partnership. Abelard gives you a look of reproach. You sully the von Valance's name by inviting people like her into your retinue, Lord Captain. The decision is yours, but do not be surprised if unsavory rumors start to spread on Footfall. It is a strange circle you are forming around yourself, rogue trader. Sister Argenta. Jay gives her an almost lecherous once-over. I've heard all about your deeds on Footfall, but I never would have guessed there was an angelic beauty behind all this idle gossip. And while we're at it, Shireen, when were you going to reveal your true identity to me? Jay cocks her head to one side curiously. I'm infinitely flattered by your attention, but if I had known I was talking to a rogue trader, not an envoy of one, I would have shown some decorum. Oh man. I wanted to talk like normal people do. For a man of my status, it's a rare treat. That is so human. Your lordship, I guess people at the top have a lot more in common with regular folk than some might think. Either way, I'm entirely willing to join your retinue. From now on, my knowledge and experience are entirely at your disposal. Oh, and one more thing. If you're interested in rather lucrative offer, one that can give you the von Valance's protectorate a leg up, I'd say now isn't the time to be thinking about such things, but once we get back to your ship, perhaps you could spare me a minute. Shireen?
I've suffered worse.
I'll probably keep it as it is for now. Give me a sec. Oh, man. After a good meal, I got sleepy again. Oh god. Always happens when I want to play something in the evening and also eat. Man, we've made some fucking bloody mess out here. God damn. Bloody massacre. Nice vents.
I always have a backup plan.
See? Right there.
Keep your wits about you.
My Auspex has detected something.
I always keep my options
Now
open.
what? Mm-hmm. I suppose I will have to return here a little bit later to explore that area. Or cut out.
Is there money to be made? Let us know, Dawdle.
think this fella here wanted heretical artifacts for a trade.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Oh, that quest was in a different place. Maybe here? Who is this one? Someone sending a message. Doc Alpha Row, topic of communication, discharge of contract, logistica, etc. Huh. A contract from 25-30 years ago? What the hell?
Keep your wits about you. I always have a backup plan.
There was the code. Could I found the number? The password for it? I received an invitation to a meeting. Confirmed. I wish to discharge reciprocally validate the mutual contractual obligation designated Logisticar Terra. Under the contractual obligation in question 34.761, 10 cycles ago, the Explorator Cognizance fleet received from representatives, authorized units of the Von Valancius dynasty of a volume of high-grade promethium equal to the fuel capacity of 6 Tantalian void tankers. Received it and then didn't pay. Compensate. Remunerate. Settle accounts. Should I go on? Or is that enough? Synonyms. The stipulated payment reciprocal offering from the Cognizance fleet can be made to Von Valancius assets at the current time, after which the contractual obligation will be fulfilled. Archived. Confirm your status regarding acceptance of the payment reciprocal offering. You waited 30 years to pay up. Execution of payment reciprocal offering is in accordance with the specifications of the contractual obligation. Allocation of assets from the holdings of the Cognizance fleet was initiated when the tankers reached the main squadron. 14.905 turn cycles after the initial transaction. Okay. Clever. If you had been purchasing fuel for a squadron at the other end of the Imperium, you may never have had to pay at all. We would have turned to dust before you made it there and back. Request is accepted. The sacred machines will be loaded into the hold of your vessel. The contractual obligation, Logisticar Terra, is concluded.
I always keep my options open.
A familiar figure turns to you. Heinrich von Calax, interrogator of the Order Xenos, bows his head respectfully. Lord Captain? Honored interrogator, what a surprise. Did you perchance leave something in your cabin? Not at all. First officer Bursarian. I'm not in the habit of leaving a trail, but I thank you for your concern. Greetings, interrogator. To what do I owe the pleasure of this latest visit? Only to our mutual duty to humanity. It is that duty that demands that I disturb your peace once more. I was able to contact my mentor and report the tragic events that transpired in Raikat Menoris. I also received some information from my agents regarding the movements and actions of enemies of humanity, including the Xenos that we're assuming were involved in the theft of the star. According to their findings, the threat now hangs over other worlds. This time yours, Lord Captain. Henry clears his throat and begins in a pointedly official tone. By order of Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar, whose duty is to stand sentinel over the Coronet's expanse, the rogue trader of House Von Valancius is to take on board the agent of the Most Holy Inquisition and provide escort and support in deeds great and small that serve to safeguard the territories of the Imperium against its enemies. This decree is effective immediately upon announcement and remains in effect until decided otherwise by His Excellency Calcazar. Idira's whisper is barely audible. All I got from it is that reading ourselves of this snitch won't be easy. What exactly caused this need to rejoin my crew? The cause is the activity of humanity's enemies, including the cult of the Final Dawn. In my absence, the situation in the Coronis Expanse has changed. I have received an exhaustive report from my agents. This heresy has taken root in the region where the Von Valancius worlds lie. You probably already know about the fate of the industrial world of Kiavagama. If not, then I will share what details I know, but not here. Better to talk on board, where we will not be overheard. A sanctioned psyker with an inquisitorial rosette in my retinue, for free no less. The other rogue traders will be positively green with envy. Not the most common response to the news that I will be constantly breathing down your neck. You aren't wrong though. I prefer to repay favors in kind. Assist me by ensuring that my work is unobstructed, and I will assist you in return. I must also deliver this to you. Heinrich pulls out a sealed letter. The Lord Inquisitor specified that the contents of this envelope are for your eyes only. I would ask you to read it as soon as you have the time. That is everything for the time being. Are you headed to the ship, or do you still have business on footfall? Whatever the case, I can either wait for you on board or accompany you. Yeah. I can wait on board. We don't need you right now. Okay. Remember in which section I've seen the... Where was the...
Is there money to be made?
Where was the part where there was this party for a group of people that were talking about inheritance? Was it Shadow Quarters? Liege's residence? Wait, where was it? Ashtray. Atrium footfall free bandas. It's in the atrium. How did I miss it? Ah, this is right straight ahead. Oh,
Let us not dawdle. Always keep your eye on the prize.
So what was the deal with this shitty quest? Rot in the world. The ceremony guests do not know who Fidelio is or what he is or she looks like. People definitely want Fidelio dead. Yeah, so yeah, I remember now. The dead person, for some reason, has written all the inheritance to this Fidelio. Fidelio is the heir to Den's Belardo's riches. The word repentance could have some connection to the Fidelio mystery. Someone, possibly Fidelio, left a strange note in the Book of Remembrance.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
I didn't do this one. The girl dressed in expensive clothes raises her sad little face to you and says in serious voice, "Hello. Have you ever heard the name Fidelio? It's someone my dad is very mad at, but dad is always mad at everyone, at Grandpa, Mom, Dag and Chaplain." "Who are you and what are you doing here?" "Hiding." She hesitates for a moment. "I thought I was going to cry and I didn't want anyone to see. My name is Adelio Belardo. It's my grandpa in there in the box." Argenta's face softens. She reaches out and gently strokes Adelia's head. "The tears will pass, Adelia. The tears will pass. The strength will return, and your courage will never leave you." Adelia tries to smile, then just nods seriously. "Where are your parents?" "My dad is Cas Belardo. He's with the guests, and my mom ran away. They told me she hates dad and grandpa. I guess she hates me too. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I don't even miss her anymore. Miss Grandpa. He was the nicest." She pressed her lips together and lets out a quiet, very unchildlike sigh. Did your grandfather ever mention the word repentance to you?" "He did. That word kept appearing in our home, and nobody knew who wrote it. It used to make Grandpa happy when I was little. He always smiled when he saw it. But then later, when I was a little bigger and Grandpa was already old, it stopped making him happy. He was sad. He would just sit there and stare at nothing, and after that, when he got sick, she stopped, her big eyes glistening with tears. When he got sick, the writing started to scare him. More and more of it appeared. Repentance, repentance, repentance. Even in his bedroom. One time he pointed at the word and said something very weird. About dead eyes and about cobras going to class. The fuck? Her last phrase stirs your memories. Not this naive child's tale has nothing to do with reptiles, glass, cobras. It seems her mind has distorted her late grandfather's words. He must have been talking about a void ship. More specifically about a Cobra-class destroyer. Oh. Huh. Someone left some strange words in the Book of Remembrance, as if they were from Fidelio. That wasn't your doing by any chance? Ha, that would have been a funny prank. Her eyes light up a little. But I don't play pranks, it was someone else. Maybe Fidelio did it, very quietly. Or maybe it was someone who's not on the list, but also somebody nobody would suspect. Oh my god. I have no idea who it is. The more I learn, the more confused I get. There could be a void entity. You know, there's a saying that no letter is big enough for TVs. Chaplin says warmly, almost affectionately. What I mean is, if Dance and some demon from the warp happened to share the same house, the one who'd run or wind up dead would be the demon, not the other way around. It could be a name, and the name of a ship, for example. Chaplin's eyes flashed momentarily. A ship called the Repentance. I'm not sure, but you might be right. Now that you've said that, I've remembered an interesting detail. About 12 years back, there was an attempt on Dan's life. Not many could have even got close to him, let alone wounded him. That assassin was a master of her craft. Dan's always was a hardy fellow. That's what saved him. Then his trust implants, but the medics pretty much had to put him back together from scratch. When he finally emerged from the hands of the Sawbones, months after the attempted assassination, he kept chuckling about her being a sharp one. And that she was real angry with him for burying her father. Or her husband, I don't recall. And he was a ship captain. I vaguely remember that conversation. I'm almost certain that the ship was called the Repentance. And that Dance even knew the names of the captain and the proud would-be Avenger. The woman's name was Leona or something like that, and her last name. I wouldn't be surprised if it sounded similar to Fidelio. So you think this woman is our Fidelio? It's my best guess. Let me remind you what he said. I owe Fidelio, if not for the Repentance. Who else could he have been indebted to if not a vengeful daughter, a lover, or whoever she was, of a captain he'd killed? It would be a very dense thing to do, to leave all the money not to his wimp of a son, not to his idiot first mate, but to the cunning lass who almost killed him. True. Well, it looks like we've cleared up the repentance part. Seems so. If we guessed right, all that's left is Fidelia and the will. Not long before his death, Dance mentioned something about dead eyes looking at him. That is strange. Who would have looked at him like that in his own home? Some errant server skull that was passing by? Maybe it was nothing more than a dying man's delusion. Maybe Fidel will make themselves known once Dance... I have serious reason to suspect that someone here wanted to kill Fidelio. Of course they did, and they still do, and they will keep trying. The inheritance is no trifle for all, and the claimants are not exactly the placid types. The area around the book is completely open. If the chaplain is telling the truth, he really does know all the guests by sight. And the words could only have been left by someone with free run of the courtyard. Someone who wouldn't attract attention. Let's go over everything we know. Dan supposedly left his possessions to Fidelio, a woman who wanted to take revenge on him for killing the captain of the ship Repentance. The word Repentance is written in the Book of Remembrance, and the entry is new. Does this mean that our Fidelio is somewhere close by? We also know something about dead eyes, and the fact that the courtyard is completely open. I don't think an unknown person could have gotten in here and left those words in the book. Well, Lord von Valensis, now it's all in your hands. I'm no sleuth and don't know what to do with all these clues. If you have some thought about Fideli's whereabouts, find her. If not, come back to me. We still need to send Dance on his way and deal with the matter of his estate.
I always keep my options open.
If you didn't know what to look for, it would be easy to overlook the servitor, which may have once been a woman. The servitor's implants, the mechanical nature of its movements, the empty gaze, it's all there, but... Repentance. That single word causes the servitor's body to twist in a violent spasm. Something akin to a sob or a growl builds in its throat, and its mechanical appendages jerk convulsively. Chaplin's tall figure appears next to you. So this is our heir, right? He pauses, mulling it over, then gestures for the administratum. Oh, so the woman was turned into a fucking servitor. Oh shit. Man, it's so dark. The inventory of Dan's possessions. What does it say about the servitor? Let's see here. Let's see. One moment. Section B17/40. Personal effects of the disease. Subsection servitors. Here it is. Oh, this is a rare one-of-a-kind unit. Commissioned personally by Master Bellardo 12 years ago. The main function of this servitor is cleaning the house, bedrooms, vestibules, bathrooms. In accordance with Master Bellardo's wishes, its free will was completely eradicated, and the parts of its brain that regulated pleasure responses were destroyed. But to a large extent, its memory and awareness were preserved. Holy shit, man. Shit. So he not only basically murdered the woman's loved one or something, and then he turned her into a servitor. And he left the memory and awareness intact. That's dark. Can a servitor even inherit? This matter requires further investigation. We'll have to go over the codices, bylaws, statutes, regulations from the last 400 years or so. The clerk pales a little. We'll find the answer sooner or later. Or we could ask Lord von Valensis to settle the matter in the name of his dynasty. This is footfall, after all. If Rogue Trader says that a servitor can inherit, then that's how it's going to be. I would ask the esteemed guests to stay for a moment longer. I was going to announce Dan's last will and testament after he was delivered into the flames, but the circumstances dictated otherwise. So according to the deceased will, all of Bellardo's fortune goes not to his worthless son Cass, not to his brainless maid Dagon, but to a Fidelio, a mysterious new heir. However, I believe a certain party would like to intervene in this process. I think we're gonna go with Iconoclast. The only one here who truly loved dance is his granddaughter, Adelia Belardo. She inherits his fortune. The name on the will is Fidelio, but Chaplin pulls a hefty scroll out of his bag and tears it to shreds. All his life, Dan spat on laws. I think he'd understand. The old man sure as the throne didn't expect this. The money is mine. Don't worry, sweetheart. Daddy will help you put your grandpa's riches to good use. Cass, have you finally gone deaf from all that drinking? The inheritance is Adelia's, not yours. If you make any attempt to coerce her, I, as Dan's executor, will be forced to take steps. Chaplin puts a hand on the handle of his hammer. Oh, I see. All of you have it in for old Cass, eh? Well, I'm afraid you'll leave me no choice. Wow. So the woman servitor, reacted, sobbing and crying her eye out. Delia, smeared with her father's blood, is shaking Cass's lifeless body. Daddy, get up. I'll give you the inheritance. You mistake you, Cass. Threatening to murder your own daughter at your old man's funeral was a new law for you. You always were useless waste, even in your final moments. What happens to the girl now? Chaplin sighs heavily as he looks at the weeping child. She got no one left now. The mother ran off to the edge of the galaxy, and her father, well, you saw it yourself. His brow furrows after a pause. He curses under his breath and nods. I'll look after her until she's grown up. I don't think I need to spell it out for you. A little girl with tremendous fortune. Might as well paint a target on her forehead. If I take Adelia in, no one will dare to hurt her. Courtesy of the reputation that my turbulent past has earned me. And they do dare. He casts a meaningful, sidelong glance at Cass's body. While I'm at it, I'll also help her not to squander her whole fortune. Maybe even earn something extra both for herself and you. I think the best investment would be a merchant ship. I'll teach her the basics of voidfaring, find some reliable suppliers, pull a few strings in the administratum, and just like that she'll have herself a decent enterprise. I'll venture a guess and assume you wouldn't say no to a supply network that is robust and loyal to none but House von Valencias. Leave the paperwork and other formalities to me. I'll contact you, your subordinates myself. The servitor that was once a woman is kneeling, motionless, and showing no signs of life. There are two charred holes where the eyes once were. Some malfunction must have burnt its brain from the inside. Its face bears a peaceful smile. Oh, Jesus Christ. Chaplin looks at the coffin. I would like to say goodbye to my old friend. I imagine the crematorium has got its furnaces up and running already, but I feel it would be kind of sad to just shove Dance in there like that. He was known as a jerrycan Dance, and he loved having his enemies drenched in promethium and burned. I think it'd be a nice gesture to send him on his way in the same fashion. Thankfully, it's easy enough to procure a jerrycan of promethium on footfall. Fitting.
Keep your wits about you.
Alright, I'm gonna continue some other time from here. Save up. Probably next time I'll leave the planet and go to the other sections of this system.